Caleb, there's
Okay, we are now recording. So, hey everybody, I'm Tara. I appreciate you getting on this Zoom tonight. I appreciate your time. I know it's Sunday night and you're getting ready to start your week. And so thank you. We wanted to kind of recap our week that we had last week in Florida, which was, oh my gosh, it was just so amazing. And I kind of want to go back. It was just beautiful, and just to be surrounded by all these leaders and positive people, it was just absolutely incredible. We were so blessed that Randa Carlisle is the one who she ran the contest to qualify to get there, and then she coordinated the entire trip. She had people flown in. She just had this itinerary for us, and just so much packed into 3 days, and we were just so incredibly blessed. So the first thing I want to talk about is we had Renee Olson there. If you guys don't know who Renee Olson is, she is our Chief Field Officer, and she's also the co-founder of Miriam. She's Jeff Olson's ex-wife, but they're still best friends, and they work hand in hand together. I'm going to mute. I'm trying to see. I need to mute. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Sorry, there was like major background noise. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me? Okay, thank you. I was like, did I mute myself? Okay, so Renee Olson, we've seen her at conference. We've heard her on Miriam Universities. We've seen her so much. And I've always known she was a sweetie and she had a heart of gold. But being with her and hearing kind of her story and how they've gotten to this point was just like, it was kind of jaw-dropping. She was talking about, okay, so her and Jeff, like when they were first married, or not like first married, but they were in network marketing, and Jeff actually they were in this like water filtration business. And he was doing his own little business first. He had his own downline, whatever. And then she was introduced the product to some of her friends, and like she started selling a bunch, and he was like, well, why don't you just join my team? And she's like, I just kind of had this feeling like, no, I want to do like my own team. Like, and so she did, and she started selling these water filters. I mean, this was like decades ago. And so that was like her first kind of step in this empowerment of women thing. And just to hear her talk about and how proud she was, like she was doing this. And I was like, I could really relate to her. And so they built this company, or their own businesses in that company. And just, they rocked it. But then later, and I'm not sure if it was, because she was talking about a couple different companies, but I'm not sure if it was that company or another one. They were in two different ones, but one of them, they got to the top again, and they literally were doing so well. But they had like this light bulb moment that they were doing really well and they were making a lot of money, but the people on their team, they weren't making a lot of money. Like there was just this unfairness in the compensation plan, and they stopped. They quit. So I guess that would have been from that first one, the water filtration company. And then they went to another company, and most of their team followed them. So that just was like a big light bulb moment for me. Like, oh my gosh, like they really care about the fairness of the compensation plan. So when we say that, Miriam is really focused on everybody being treated fairly, and we've got a great compensation plan, they care about everybody, they really mean that. I just was kind of floored by that. They really care about everybody. And another thing she talked about, you hear people talk, and I've got notes down here if you hear me looking down or see me looking down. Our Miriam culture is based on, loving, caring, sharing. We love that family culture. And within the past couple of years, they've had new people come in, and they've had to get rid of some people because some of the people that they brought into Miriam were making it feel too like corporate-y, and they didn't like it. So they got rid of them because they were like, we really want this focused like a family. And I was like, man, like they really mean what they say. And I've never doubted it, but just to hear this from Renee, and I'm like, wow, like they're really telling the truth. And I never doubted that, but it just was such a confirmation that they have our best interest at heart. So she was just amazing. I mean, I could go on and on and on about her. She just talked about empowerment of women. And, one thing she said was, you don't want to wake up one day and not know who you are or what you want. And like, we can get so busy making others happy that we kind of forget ourselves. And that really spoke to me, because I think a lot as moms, we do take care of everybody else and not ourselves. And so that's been a big part of my Miriam journey, actually. So she just had us all in tears. But she did have 2 book recommendations, if you guys want to write these down, because somebody asked her what her favorite personal development book was. And she just recently read this and recommended it. It's called The 40-Day Challenge. She liked that one. And then another one, I think it was her or Randa, or maybe they both read it, but it's called The Circle Maker. So those are the 2 books that she recommended. I've got 2 more like things to talk about, actually 3. But in between each little subject, I would love to have either Lindsay or Sue. Is Laura on here? Laura's not on here yet. Lindsay, if you want to talk about, what that was, like what was the biggest impact of the trip for you? You'll have to unmute yourself. Oh, okay. You're good.
Am I good? Okay.
Good. Yes.
Well, obviously just the whole trip, there was so much value to it. Obviously first, just spending time with all of the women, getting to know everybody better, some meeting for the first time. That was definitely amazing. But as far as like one of the trainings that stuck out to me the most was Rob Greer's training on SMART goals. And, I would say like SMART, meaning specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and target goals. And where he really kind of honed in on was the attainable and realistic goals. I kind of have a personality where I'm like a bull going out of the gates, and I'm so excited and I'm all on fire and I'm ready and I'm going to conquer everything. Or like, I do this with exercise all the time. I'm like, well, I'm just going to join a gym and I'm going to, lose like 20 pounds and I'm going to gain all this muscle and I'm going to eat perfect. And the reality is, if I don't have a plan, I can have that vision, but if I don't have a plan, it's not going to happen. But also sometimes when we make those kind of goals for ourselves, that's not a bad thing. When we don't maybe meet those goals, we've got to be able to pick ourselves up and keep going. But it's almost more practical for most people in our busy lives with, spouses, kids, jobs. For a lot of us, this isn't our only source, this isn't our job or our only job. We're all busy. And so, to make them more attainable, more realistic. So I kind of am like, you know what, I'll get to the next place that I want to go. I'll get to those bigger goals that I want to attain, but I'm going to just set some things. So I made a list, when I got home, of just some realistic goals for the next 3 months. And I chose 3 months because he also said a statement that really struck me. And I thought, if I want business income to come from this, if I want this to replace someday my corporate job, I've got to look at it like this. And obviously in the time and things that I can do these things in. But he said, if you don't have a plan and you don't have your calendar out and you don't spend an hour maybe sitting down and scheduling all of your things, like family's most important. So you plug in all of your family stuff. Then you plug in, your business things. So maybe that's, an RRP, or maybe you're helping a team member with an RRP, or maybe it's a 3-way call. It could be Spotlight in January. It could be, everybody should have on our calendars clear until July, going to Vegas. So it's planning out and really putting things on paper, whether it be daily, weekly, monthly, or even 6 months from now, because our goals even our bigger goals, we'll be able to hit those with more of the attainable ones. Like, hey, I'm going to talk to Sue, tomorrow, and we're going to, brainstorm about an RRP that we're having, or I'm going to call Tara and we're going to do a 3-way call with, so-and-so. Those things just make it more realistic, more attainable. He even said, just grab, if you haven't had a lot of before and after pictures lately, grab 10 new before and after pictures of people, like just little goals. I'm going to get out 5 samples this week of youth factor. Okay, great. If that's more than what you've been doing, then you're going to see when we're doing the activity, we're going to see the results. And one last thing, he was just saying, if we were at any other business and we did not have a plan for the next 3 months or 6 months in a business, he's like, you should be in fear. And I was kind of like, well, that's kind of strong. But then I started thinking, well, dang, he's right. Because honestly, where I work, at the corporate place where I work, it's for a family, and I don't even mind my job. I love my job, but I love the people the most. But it's like, if they didn't have things already set and planned, it would definitely fail. Like, they would be setting themselves up to fail. And so be really careful with your time, plan things out, get out your calendar, schedule things. We're worth a lot, and our businesses are worth a lot. Treat it like a business, and really value your time. So that's the biggest thing I took away.
Awesome. Thank you, Lindsay. And I had a blast with you.
Yes, I did too. It was so fun. I wish we were there right now.
You do.
It's a lot warmer there. We're like
a lot warmer. So thank you for sharing that. And I actually, we're going to start doing what, based off of what Rob Greer had talked about, we're going to start doing some coaching calls. We feel like there are senior directors and executive directors now who are ready to start doing coaching calls. We've learned some of the tactics. And so I was going to wait till the end of this, but since Lindsay, you just started talking about that, I'm like, I'm going to say it now. So this is going to be on a volunteer basis. You're not required to do these coaching calls whatsoever. You're just wanting to do this for free product. That's great. We can do coaching calls based on that too. You don't have to be running for Lexus to do a coaching call. But what these calls are, we're just going to do 1 call per week. It's individual. Just, one-on-one with the same person every week at 10 to 15 minutes. That's all. Everybody's busy. This is not going to be like an hour-long conversation. And we're going to help you set some goals and figure out the actions to get you to your goals. So if that sounds like something you would like for the next, I think it's like a 6-week time period, please individually message your upline senior director, executive director, somebody in your upline and say, hey, I want to do those coaching calls there that Tara was talking about. It's really hard for us to individually reach out and be like, hey, did you see the Zoom? Did you want to do the coaching calls? We're not doing that just because that kind of puts a pressure on you. We want it to be voluntary. We want it to be you raising your hand and saying, yes, me, please, I want to do that. So we're really excited about that. And I'm personally going to do it with Danielle. She doesn't know it yet. She's not even on the Zoom, but I'm like, hey, Danielle, remember those coaching calls? I need one. So I need help too. I mean, we all need help. Gosh. So that was one of the things I want to talk about too. So that one's out of the way. So I went to talk, what time is it? 8:15. We're good. This Zoom is only 40 minutes long because that's how long the free Zoom lasts. So another important thing I want to talk about, Erin Hall came too. She's our 5-star. She lives in Louisville. She flew down and stayed a couple days with us. She's hilarious. She's down to earth. She has built her business from the ground up, and she was just a joy to be around. And her training was about mindset and personal awareness. And we all know it. Like, if you think bad things are going to happen. If you think good things are going to happen. But it's really hard sometimes to always be positive. And we don't expect like 100% positive all the time, because that's not human. But she was saying, like, pretend that your feelings are plastered on your forehead. So like whenever you're thinking, even if it's towards a team member or towards a customer or towards a potential brand partner. Hi, Cadence. Oh, she's so cute. Hi. Whatever you're thinking, just pretend it's written right here. What would you want that other person sitting across from you or on the phone? What do you want them to see or feel? And I was like, wow, that was written across my forehead. Like sometimes, sometimes you just don't always have those positive thoughts. So that was really a really good thing for me to hear. Another thing she said, like this would be an exercise, like to become aware of your thoughts. If you're like, oh, I never have negative thoughts. She said, put a penny in your right pocket to start the day. And every time that you have a negative thought, you move it to the left pocket. The next time you have a negative thought, move it back to the right pocket. And every time you have a negative thought, just move it over to the pocket, to the other pocket. And I was like, that would be kind of weird. But I mean, if you notice that you're switching pockets like every 5 minutes, could you imagine like, oh my God, I'm such a negative person. So that was, if you really struggle with negative thinking, that's one way to really make yourself aware of it. And once you're aware of that negative thinking, you can fix it. You're never going to fix it 100%. We're always going to have negative thoughts. But the way that you can fix it is like believing that something positive can happen. Like for example, if you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to get another customer. I'm never going to get 3 or free. Guess what? You're not, because what you say and what you believe is what happens. It's crazy, but it's true. So whatever, your goals are, write them down, take action. Because she said action beats emotion every time. You can complain and woe is me. But if you don't have a plan to fix it, it's always going to be the same. So, she was like, the universe grants what you think and what you speak. And it's really true. I've seen it happen a million times. And she also had some book recommendations. She recommends The Secret. So I would write that down. And then another one that she recommends is A Happy Pocket Full of Money. And she said it's not about money. She's like, I wish it wasn't even called that. So I'm excited to get those books. So it's The Secret and A Happy Pocket Full of Money. And I'm like, if Erin Hall recommends these books, I'm going to read them, because what she's doing in her business is what I want to do in my business. So I am done talking about her. I mean, but literally, like I could go on and on about like the things they talk about, but I just want to hit some highlights. Sue, we're going to take a break and listen to Sue and see, Sue, what was the most impactful thing for you from this whole trip? I know you really, I got to tell you guys, Sue was like running a fever. She almost had to cancel the night before we left. She messaged at like 8 or 9 o'clock and was like, you guys, I got a fever 102. I'm having belly issues. I don't know if I can go. And I'm like, I am begging you. Like, I will risk being sick. I don't care. She shows up and she has on a surgical mask. Like, she rode to Florida with that on her face the whole time, sick as a dog. But she did it. And I just am so proud of her, like super dedicated. And she ended up, we got her there and she loved it. So I had a great time with her. Okay, Sue, your turn.
Well, Lindsay totally took every word out of my mouth.
Way to go, Lindsay. Way to go.
Yeah, you did too, Sarah. So that was my 2 top things. I had taken some notes, rewritten some notes so that I could understand my writing, because half of it was running back and forth to the bathroom and I missed a lot of stuff. So that's no joke. What I took away, I think overall the whole thing, yeah, all the training was great. Took the notes. Now I got to put it into play, right? I just got to put it all into play. But I think the biggest thing I got was I felt like everybody was on the same page. Everybody was there. Everybody's been there or is going through it or will go through it. And everybody's just hand in hand with it. So I didn't feel like anything that's happening in my business was out of the ordinary, that it was ordinary. It was normal. to feel all those things. And I forget who was it that said it, but you're basically, I think it was Shelley maybe, said, basically you're just going to fail your way to the top. You just have to keep failing and getting rejected and getting negativity from other people, but you just brush it off and you just keep going. You get up, you keep going, you keep doing it because you will get there. And I think that was so encouraging and inspiring to hear. Let me see what else. I took some more notes. Again, Rob Greer, the obtainable, what Lindsay was talking about. It's only measurable if it's tracked. I thought that was good. That was really good. So I'm going to get my calendar out and use it more, brush the dust off of it and use it more, because I seriously have not been using it like I should. And I really think I was using this business. I felt like I was doing it my way. Mom always told me, if you want to do anything, you just got to do it yourself. That's not necessarily true here. My team needs to hear my voice. They need to hear my encouragement. And they need to hear it. And I need to hear it. So I think communicating a lot more is going to be key for all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yay!
Pretty much all I got.
Thanks for sharing. Will you, would you be comfortable sharing about the Monday morning and what Renee, would you be comfortable sharing about that right this minute, or do you want to share it later?
About what I felt happened?
The Monday morning prayer,
Yeah. You mean about what they do every Monday morning?
That, and kind of how it affected you.
Piece together.
Yes.
So they pray every Monday morning in the whole corporate office. I think she said she gets with HR, and HR was very happy that she decided to have a prayer every Monday morning. And this has been going on for I don't know how long. But after my son died, Tara was reaching out to me a lot, texting me, calling me. And then one day, I think it was on a Monday, and she called me, and I was having a really, really, really bad day. I was crying, and I was just immobile, and it was really, really difficult. And I just I think I even kind of yelled a little bit, not at Tara, but I was like, dang it, I don't know why. But it seems Mondays are so immobilizing for me. Mondays were so hard. Monday is not the day of the week that my son died on, but Mondays were extremely hard for some reason. And I just started noticing that Mondays were hard. And the only thing that I can come up with is, if you have ever had anybody to put your hand on you and pray with you, if you've never had that done, it feels like, the hands are heavy. They're really heavy. And the prayers are just as heavy. And you feel them, and they just, you just drop. You just melt in their hands, basically. And I felt like my Mondays were doing that to me. My Mondays were, I felt like it was their hands. They're praying on me and rejuvenating me for the rest of the week. That's just what I got from it. And I was stunned when I heard her say, we pray every Monday. And then it was like, Mondays. My Mondays have been so, I don't want to say bad, but just numbing and immobilizing. I can't put any other words. I absolutely no strength. Like, the prayer was just starting to fill me and absolutely let me go throughout the rest of my week after that prayer.
It's crazy. But good crazy. Okay. Yeah, that was a big light bulb moment for her. And you just,
that was
just moments. There were so many moments like that. I felt like just kind of light bulb moments for everybody.
There were a lot of those. So it was very, very encouraging.
Love it. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. I know that's kind of personal, but I just thought it was special. Okay. So, what Sue was talking about, learning that, other people struggle in this business and other people have, the same issues. Like, sometimes you feel like, God, am I the only one who lost 89 customers this month? Or am I the only one who lost a brain partner? Am I the only one who did this? gosh, I suck or whatever, you know, but that's that pot or that negative thinking that gets to you. And so like learning all these things, like, okay, if I'm having these negative things go through my brain, like at first I need to be aware and then I need to fix it. So I'm moving on to Kaylee Herman. I don't know if you guys know Kaylee Herman or if you're Facebook friends with her. She lives in Florida. She's a crazy nutball. Love her with all my heart. She's one of our top recruiters. Literally, like she was number 4 in the company a couple months ago. She is just BA, if you know what that stands for. I know there's kids on the line, so I'm not going to say it out loud. But I mean, she is amazing. And so that was her topic of training, was recruiting. And by the way, she has 27,000 in trip volume. So when I say she recruits and she helps her recruits. You know, she sponsors them very well. Her biggest tip of all her tips was to have posture. I know a lot of people have, you know, talked about like, well, I don't really have much success in this business yet. Well, if you say that, if you think that, you might as well write it on your forehead, because whoever you're talking to is going to be like, oh, well, she's not making any money yet. But you don't need to tell people how much money you make. If somebody asks you how much money you make in this, be like, well, how much money do you make in your job? It's none of their business. One of the lines I've learned is if somebody asks you that, be like, well, it's enough money to make it worth it. And it's enough money to make it where I'm never leaving this, you know. Those are some kind of good like zinger backs. Like, or you could always be like, well, I'll show you my tax return if you show me yours. I mean, that's just, I don't know why people think it's so like, I don't know. But, so anyways, off on a little soapbox there, but so having posture, knowing that the company that we have, the billions of dollars of product that we've sold, the number of $1 million earners that we have. Her big thing was like, don't be the like weirdo with the hair straightener at the mall. Like, don't be the mall kiosk guy, like giving you that weird eye contact, waiting for you to walk by. She was like, plus it's unsanitary. She's so funny. But just not to be that like weirdo stalker, to build relationships with people. And we hear it all the time. You have to build a relationship. You have to get to know somebody and like really know if you want to work with them or not. Like if I'm getting to know somebody and they're maybe a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I'm probably going to back it off a little bit. Like, oh, you know, like we'll just keep in touch. So really building that relationship. Don't be a weirdo. I mean, and when we're doing this, like you're really looking for people who you want to help. Like this business has changed my life completely. Looking for what that person would need. You've got to listen to them. Do they want more time freedom? Do they want to see their kids' soccer games? Do they need more money? Do they need a free car? Like just listening to people. And a couple, some verbiage she had like with cold market. Cold market is hard for some people. Okay, it says I'm ending in 10 minutes. Cold market is tough for a lot of people, especially if you're an introvert. I'm an extrovert and I still struggle with it. I mean, I'll talk to anybody. My kids are like, shut up, mom. But when somebody asks you what you do, there's several different lines for this. Like Sue could be like, well, my full-time job is I'm a nurse, but my part-time job is I'm in marketing for a new anti-aging company. So if you have another job, lead with your job, like as your first job, and then Miriam, it's your second one. But saying that you're in marketing for a new anti-aging company, and then just kind of blow it off. Like you don't want to like start spewing all kinds of information. Don't talk too much, and then just basically be like, "Are you on Facebook? Just friend me," or "Oh my gosh, we got to connect on Facebook. Are you on Facebook?" And just be friends with them then, and act like you're not. It's kind of like dating, like kind of playing hard to get, And then another thing you can say is, my job is to let people try products for free. I think that one's always a cool one, because they'll be like, oh, I'll take some. Everybody wants something for free, right? And then she says when she gives samples, or even when she gets a new customer, she said, and I think this is amazing, because this is kind of a, I don't even know how to like describe it, but I'm going to start using this. She says when she samples or gets a new, getting ready to get a new preferred customer, she says, it's my job to let you know that there is an amazing business attached to this. It's like, oh, why don't I say that more often? Like, it's just by saying it's my job to let you know, kind of makes it sound like I'm required to tell you instead of like I'm pouncing on you. I just thought that was really cool. And then she was saying, don't chase people. If you've been talking to somebody for like a couple months and they're just not signing, be like, okay, I don't think you're ready. You gotta let people off the hook. Give them an out. I don't think you're ready. I'm not going anywhere. Just, where I am, basically. Which is really hard to do. It's so hard to let people go. But she's just like, she is just, she's like, if you need more class A's, she's like, then you have to do more than 2 a day. She's like, do 10 a day. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I need to get my booty in gear because, but it's true. It just makes sense. And for her, she's just like cut and dry. She just knows what she's doing. She knows what she wants and she does it. So I really looked up to her training and really took a lot from that. And one more thing, she still does 3-way calls. She's top recruiter, and she did a 3-way call on the beach. Like, I have a picture of her up on the little boardwalk. That's what she was doing. But what she says, I have to get my notes. What she says is when she wants to get somebody on a 3-way call, she will say, I don't do this on my own. I don't do this job on my own. Because when people are like, well, I can't do what you do. And she's like, I don't do this on my own. Like she says, if you ever decide to do this business, these would be the kind of calls that you would do too. I'm going to get you on the phone with my friend because I want you to hear from her too. That way, you'd never be alone in this. It's like, gosh, that is like just such good verbiage and so not weird, and just saying, I want you to hear from someone else just so, because like, say for instance, like, if somebody knew you in college, like they still think of you as that person in college. They don't know you now. I'm like, well, we definitely need to get people on the phone with me because I was totally different in college now. So anyways, that was just some tips. We're going to hear from Laura in just a second, but please, please, please don't forget to message us about the coaching calls. If you want to start coaching calls, you've got to reach out to us because we just cannot we can't get to everybody, unfortunately. So it's a good problem to have, but we want to help you all. We just need to know who wants to be helped because we don't want to bug you or pressure you. So Laura Cook is going to talk next, and she will close it out. Also, don't forget about the Christmas Cash Blitz that Danielle is running. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, message me, and I will tag you in the post. There's like $200 worth of cash up for grabs, split 3 ways. So definitely be running for that. Laura, if you could just share what this trip meant to you. We've got 5 minutes left, and you can have the whole 5 minutes.
Woohoo! Hey, and I'm driving and starting and stopping at stoplights and stuff. So if I look at you, that means I'm at a stoplight. If I'm not looking at you, it's because I'm looking at the road. Anyways, I could show Anna. I wanted to actually kind of transition to something that I feel like we don't think about very often, and that is, or actually I should say it this way, that we kind of take for granted the impact it can make on our paychecks. The CCB, it's always at the end of the month, and we've all just pushed really hard for the 23rd and to get our 3-year free, and, to kind of, where our focus is there, 3-year free. But the CCB, for those of you guys who don't know, it's our reoccurring orders. So if somebody's ordered a time or two and then they stop, or people who have ordered, for just 1 month and we're hoping that they continue. Whenever there's a reoccurring order from somebody, Miriam tallies that up and we get commission off of that. And so there's 3 different numbers that we get paid out of. And I don't know if you guys have pen and paper or not, but I would encourage you to jot down these numbers and then go and look in your back office for your CCB under your business overview to see what yours is and make this a goal of yours. So basically, if your volume, your reoccurring orders, somebody who's taking a shipment of Nerium, again, for a second or more time, if your volume is 0 to 400, you're going to get 10% commission off of that. If your volume is 401 to 1,000, you get 15% commission. And if your CCV is 1,001 or more, you're going to get 25% commission. And I just want to encourage you guys to take the time to make a couple of calls, to send a couple of texts, to offer samples to people who maybe are tired of, like they didn't love the eye serum or something, but they're still, in a good physician with you, maybe they would want for sample volume. Your CCV volume is 900. If you do the math on that, which I'm not going to explain it all right now, but if you did the math on it, it would be $104.01 points or whatever. Get it to 1,001 plus. It would actually bump your paycheck by $100. So think of that. You know, in terms of the effort it puts to getting that, it's really like, you know, a bottle of night cream or a bottle of night cream and cleanser or whatever to get you up and over that little hump. So it's worth it, because oftentimes, I mean, if you're making $17 or $20 an hour, think of that. That's a lot of hours of work that you would have to put in, you know, at a job to come up with that extra $100. And sometimes it's really just a couple of samples and a couple of phone calls and you've got it. And so it's definitely worth the effort for you guys, you know, to put into that. So that's something that I just wanted to encourage you, because all the other things I wanted to talk about have already been taken. But it was a very, very impactful trip, and just learning some of those things that can really help our bottom line, because obviously we don't do this as volunteers. You know, we're all trying to, you know, bump our paychecks and stuff up too. So, you know, with Christmas around the corner, I would encourage you guys, whether it's through the gift sets, you know, using some of the verbiage that we've talked about tonight, or just offering some samples, it's definitely worth it. So you guys, like Tara said, definitely reach out to us if you want some more one-on-one coaching. We can help you guys over any hurdles, hopefully, that you're facing, whether it's just wrapping some people up if you need some fresh verbiage or some fresh ideas for sampling or parties. But anyways, we're here for you guys. So Tara, I'm going to just pass it back to you in case you wanted to say anything else, but that's all I've got.
Okay. No, and thanks for the tip. I always feel like CCV is like the middle child. It's always forgotten.
I know. Totally.
It really is, because we're like, once it's like the 23rd, you know, sometimes we literally only have like 4 days, because we don't really, CCV, like your final calculation is on the 23rd. And so you really only have like, I mean, CCV sometimes ends on like the 28th. So you only have like 5 days to gather up old PCs. So it is kind of like the poor middle child, but we forget about it. So thank you for bringing that up. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Don't forget to message about coaching calls if you want them. If you have any questions, let us know. And everybody have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for all of you. Love you. Bye.
Bye. Did you hit end early?
Bye, everyone.